Hey everybody, welcome! My name is Kurt, aka the Vitruvian Gamer, and we're here with my top 75 board games of all time at this moment in time, the 2016 edition. Or just my top 75 games of all time list. Alright, and we're here with number 40 to 31. So, we're getting closer to the top. These games are all fun. Already the ones I mentioned, they're all great. And these ones that I'm going to mention now, I like even a little bit better. So let's start with number 40. And number 40 is a party game. You can call it a party game. It's a social deduction game type of game. Or something like that. In which you are cowboys. Yes, this might be one of the reasons why I like this game. Now, this is a dice game. And it's a dice version of an older game, which called Bang. And this is Bang the Dice Game. Very simple game, and it's Bang with an exclamation mark, so it's Bang, the dice game. This game is by Asmodee or DV Ghiocchi. There are multiple publishers of this. It is designed by Michael Palm and Lucas Zak, and Board Game Geek is number 419. So not too high, but also 419 on Board Game Geek is not that bad. If I ever make a game and make it up to that place with my game, I would be ecstatic. Anyway, this game was number 28 last year, so it dropped some space because the problem is this is only in English and Italian, strangely enough, because I think it's an Italian designer or something. I have no idea why, or the publisher is Italian. And that's why it's sometimes harder for me to get it on the table with more people, and that's what it needs. You need to play this with enough people to be fun. And in this game, you each have a secret role. You can be a sheriff, which is not a secret because the sheriff is known to all players. You have a renegade, whose goal it is to be the last man standing after a showdown with the sheriff. So he wants every other player out of the game except for the sheriff, and then wants to kill the sheriff himself. You have some outlaws and a deputy, which all each have their own goals in this game, and you're doing this by rolling dice in a Yahtzee mechanic. So you're rolling dice, some dice get locked. You cannot reroll, you can reroll other dice, and after a maximum of 3 rolls, you have to do whatever it says. Now, this can be shooting one of the players next to you, or 2 spaces away from you. This can be the case that you get shot by Indians if you roll arrows. You can have dynamite exploding, you can have a Gatling gun to shoot everybody with. And the game, well, you want to figure out which player is playing which role, so you know who to kill or not to kill, and that's pretty cool. This is a fun game. I love the theme of it. I love how it plays around the table. I wish I could play it more often. It's my number 40. Is Bang Bang the dice game. My number 39 is a game by Stefan Bogen. It is, I don't know who published it. It was published by 999 Games here in Belgium. It is number 347 on Board Game Geek, so it's a well-renowned game as well. Last year it was my number 38, so it dropped 1 space, which doesn't mean anything. That means I still like it a lot. Now, in this game, which goes up to 8 players, people, and I'm not sure, the base game, up to 8 players, and it plays pretty fast as well. Now, in this game, you're at the camel races. Now, you're not racing the camels, you are betting on the camels. And the cool thing is, you have to, in your action, you can place bets. On which camel will be first at the end of a round. You can even make a long-term bet to bet on which camel will be first, or maybe on which camel will be last in the race. Now, the cool thing is that you have, and I will show you here, I try to show you here, you have these camels that stack upon each other. So if you roll a die and the dice are hidden in this pyramid, so you have to turn around the pyramid, push a kind of a button, and then one die comes out, and that's the number on that die moves that camel of the same color that many spaces. But if there's a camel on top of him, he brings that camel along with him. And that can make for very cool changes in the game. You're betting on that one, and suddenly the other one gets carried away, and then he moves himself and gets on the lead. Very cool game. You have to like randomness. This game is random, you're guessing, you're hoping. But I like it. I like the attention. It's also cool for new players because it's not too hard to explain. It looks great on the table with the pyramid and the stacking camels. A really cool, fun game. That's my number 39, Camel Up. Number 38 was number 19 last year, so it dropped 19 spaces, and it has some reasons. I didn't play it that much, and it's not the game that is always well with all players. Also, not with all player counts. You want to have as many as you can. It plays from 3 to 8 players, but it really needs, in my opinion, at least 5 or 6. I'm talking about Spyfall, game by Hobby World, designer Alexander Ushan. Now, on Board Game Geek, it's rated 239, which is a very cool place to be as a board game, and it deserves to be that high. And why is this? Well, this game comes with all these different packs of cards. Now, all these cards are a certain location, and one card is the spy. Now, these cards are dealt to each player, one of the cards, and they will secretly look at the card they got. So, one player will not know what the location is because he is the spy. And then the game starts by one player asking another player a question about the location. It can be anything that you want to ask about the location. And they have a paper in the middle of the table where all the locations are there, but you don't want it to be too obvious, your question. And the spy, his goal is to try to find out where he is, while the other players are trying to figure out who the spy is. And that makes for a cool game of back and forward, asking questions, trying to set players up to give an answer that you know that, okay, he's safe, he's not a spy. Or maybe the spy wants to ask questions and give answers that aren't too obvious questions or answers that make it obvious that he doesn't know the hell where he is. A great, cool game. Now, it's not for everybody. The first times I played it was a little bit awkward as well, but after a while and with the right people, this is a very fun game, and that is Spyfall, my number 38. Number 37. Number 37 is also a game that I really like as a gateway game, and it has 2 reasons. It plays pretty smooth, it is not that hard, and it looks amazing on the table. And it's a game by, again, Antoine Bauza, one of my favorite designers, and I'm talking about Takenoko, a game by Bombix, and as I said, designed by Antoine Bauza. It plays for 2 to 4 players, and it is on number 173 on Board Game Geek, so many people like it. Last year it was my number 45, so it got up 9 spots, and that's because this works with everybody. It works with gamers as well, but it works with new people as well. And why is that? Well, you'll soon see a picture on your screen where you can see how beautiful it is. So you have this grid of tiles that you place, and you have bamboo growing, and in between the bamboo growing you have a panda bear who is trying to eat the bamboo, and between all that you are trying to score points by completing certain mission cards, and those can go from having a certain set of tiles on the board in a certain way, or maybe some higher a certain length of bamboo. Oh man, English is hard. Or maybe you want the panda to eat certain number of colors of bamboo, and that way you score points, and the game ends after the player scores 7 cards of these missions, and then you tally up points, and the highest point is the winner. Cool game, looks awesome on the board. Now there is a collector's edition with a big wooden box with a big panda bear, which is awesome but expensive. I have the normal version, which also looks very pretty on the table. Cool game. My number 37, Takenoko. Number 36. Wow, number 36 is the biggest box that I will show you in this complete list. I will not even put it here behind me as I'm doing with the complete top because it doesn't fit in these holes of my shelves. That's why it won't be on screen in the next episodes. And I'm talking, of course, by game from this year. So I think it's my number 7 of 2016. Let's check that very quickly. Oh, this is very... Yeah, number 7 of 2016 as well. It's a game by Riot Games, which is not really a publisher of board games, but they love board games, and they are the people behind Leagues of Legends, the hugely popular billion-dollar industry online game that you can play. It is designed by many people: Chris Cantrell, Rick Ernstone, Librande, Prashant Saraswat, and Nathan Tiras. You can play this game 2 to 4 players. It's a cooperative game, and it's already, after it just got released, I think in November, it is already 61 on Board Game Geek. Now, it got a lot of hype, of course. I'm talking about Mechs versus Minions. And you can see it's a used box because my screen is almost too small. And in this game, so my number 7 of this year, of 2016, in this game you are cooperatively trying to defeat these minions, and you have different scenarios. It's a little bit legacy stylish, but it's actually a campaign that you play, and each player plays a guy or a girl in a mech suit, and you're trying to stop minions from doing certain things while reaching certain objectives. Now, the cool thing that many people first will not like in the first idea is you have to program your moves. And that means you have to draft cards and you have to program them on your own board to see, and then you see what is going to happen with your minion. You can move, you can shoot, you can do whatever the card says in your programming board. And many people don't like programming games. Now, I'm also not the biggest fan. I like it, but most of the times programming games are won by the people who are just faster in it. They think faster, they can program faster, and the other players are screwed. Now, this game is cooperative, so you want to do good. All of you want to do good and succeed in the mission. And that's what makes this game much better as a programming game for me and for my girlfriend, for example. Now, what haven't I told you yet about this game? Because that the production value is off the charts. I did an unboxing video of it. If you want to see what's in the box and how great the value is, go check it out. The game was about 75, 80 euros, maybe, but it comes with a gazillion miniatures, great cardboard pieces, metal stuff going on. It's crazy. It's craziness, and there's a bigger box inside this box where there's a big enemy. I haven't opened it yet, but it must be a huge figurine as well. Man, craziness all over the place. If you want to see what's in this box, go check out the unboxing that I did. It is crazy. It is also a very good game, and that's cool about it. It is my number 36, Mechs versus Minions. And from the biggest box to one of the smallest boxes again, I tend to do that. And this is a game for 2 to 4 players. It is also a kind of set collection game. I'm not so sure how you want to call it. A game by Asmadi Games, designed by Karl Schudik and Chris Cieslik. Number 471 on Board Game Geek. It was number 13 last year. It dropped some spaces because there are so many good games. And actually, it's a small game, so it doesn't give enough to be a top 20 game maybe. But I'm talking about Red 7. Red 7 is a card game in which you are trying to be the winning player at the end of each player's turn. Well, at the end of your turn. And you can do that by playing a card in your own tableau, and the cards are numbered 1 to 7, and they can have 7 different colors. Hence the name Red 7. Now, you can play a card in your tableau, and there will be a rule in the middle of the table which says what you need to have to be winning. So you want to have the highest card maybe, or maybe you want to have the most even cards and stuff like that. Now, you can also play a card to change the rule, because each colored card has also a different rule. So you can change the rule maybe, but you have to be sure that after your turn, you are the one who is winning according to that rule in the center of the table. Plays really fast, really fun. There are 2 ways to play, the normal way or the expert way, the advanced way. The advanced way is way more strategic or tactic, much funner, but it can take longer and has some AP going on for it, which is of course not always good with all players. But in the end, it is a great small game that you can take anywhere you want, and then you can play up to 4 players. And it's still also, as most of these kind of games, it plays best with 4. It is my number 35, Red 7. Number 34 is one of the biggest surprises, in a bad way actually, because it dropped 26 places and we're at 34, so that means it was a top 10 game. Wow, that's big stuff. Now this game by my version is by Mechs Games. I think there are multiple publishers for this at this moment. It's a game by one of the best designers out there, Stefan Feld, and I'm talking about Trajan. Trajan is at this moment 52 on Board Game Geek, so it's a highly regarded Euro game. So, and it's a Euro game, so it can be a little bit dry. The theme is not there, honestly. You are trying to score points. That's it. This game, you want to score points, and you have a ton of different possibilities to score points with. The main focus of this game is the rondel. So it's a kind of a Mancala system where you are moving pawns from one place to another, and where the last one of your pawns from a certain space ends, that's the action you can do. If you get a certain combination of colors on that space, according to tiles that you placed there before, then you can get extra actions, extra points, whatever. And that's actually it. You can go build things, you can send armies through Europe, you can trade goods for points, you can have influence in the Senate to give you points, and as you can hear, you can do anything that gives you points. This is a point salad game, as it is called, but I really like it. It's a really cool game. It works perfectly for 2 players as well. Still one of my favorites. It dropped a little bit because it takes a while to play. It is dryish and it doesn't look awesome on the table. That's why it dropped some, but it's still one of the best games out there. It's my number 34, Trajan. Number 34 was number 33, sorry, was number 9 last year. Ooh, again one that dropped off the top 10 spot all the way down to the 30s. Yeah, but it's still a great game. Now, this game is published by Paizo Publishing, designed by Mike Selinger, Chad Brown, Dennis O'Connor, Paul Peterson, and Gabby Whiteling. So many people worked on this game because it is a game that has a lot going on for it. It is 202 on Board Game Geek, so many people still like it. And I'm talking about Pathfinder, the adventure card game. And this version is Rise of the Rune Lords, because there have been many games of this since this came out. This is the first one. There have been one with pirates. There has been one with I have no idea what, because we're still playing this one. We're almost at the end of this, because this game, you have the base game with scenario into it, but you can buy scenario packs that continues the story until you end the complete story. You can upgrade your characters in between missions because, well, you find stuff on the way in your adventure that you can keep, and that makes your character better. Now, what is this game all about? It's an adventure. It's like a role-playing game with cards. You are sending your people to a deck, which is a location, and you go through the location by turning around the cards and dealing with whatever shows up. Very straightforward, dice rolling, randomness, playing cards to mitigate the randomness, but it's really fun. The story is okay, not the greatest story, but the tension, the fun, especially for me, it's a great experience with me and Elise, my fiance, because we really like it to play this together and to go through the adventure. Most of the time, not too hard as well, although now these scenarios the missions are getting a little bit harder. We're struggling at this moment, but we're still having fun. Now, this game also now has an app version, which is extraordinary well done. So you can check that out as well if you are only planning to play solo. You can even play it pass and play, so you can play it with 2 players if you want as well. This is my number 33 still. Pathfinder, the adventure card game. Number 32 is a game that I was really surprised about that it wasn't in my list last year. Very strange, because this is an excellent, one of the best filler games, which means a game that you can easily play very quick in between certain things, in between 2 games, or maybe in a lunch break or whatever, and it appeals to many players. This is published by Alia Ravensburger, and it is designed by Rudiger Dorn. It is 477 on Board Game Geek, which surprised me as well that it was low on that list. I thought it would be higher. And this is Las Vegas. Now, Las Vegas is a dice rolling game in which You have 6 casinos numbered 1 to 6, because the dice go from 1 to 6 as well. You have an amount of dice, and each round you roll all your dice. And then each player, starting with the starting player, are going to place their dice of one number that they have rolled on the casino of that number. Now, each casino has money lying there, an amount of money that you are fighting for. You are trying to have majority of dice on those casinos. And of course, you want the casinos that have a lot of money. So each player puts their dice there, and you roll all your leftover dice again, and you keep on doing this until each player has put all their dice on the different casinos. And then you're going to check who has majority in each casino. Now, cool thing is, if 2 players have the same amount of dice on there, they are cancelled out, and maybe the third one will get away with all the points or all the money on that casino. Really fun game, very tense. I love the interaction between players, because you put 3 6s there, and then the next player puts their 3 there as well, so you're fighting for that location, while the third player thinks like, okay, you go there, I will try to get that money over here with my 2 die here. Really cool game, really fun. I really recommend it. It plays up to 5 players. Awesome game. Las Vegas, my number 32. My number 31, the last one of this session again, is a new game from 2016, which makes it my number 6 game of 2016. 16. And this game is, wow, it's again a game by Antoine Bauza. There is a trend going on here. This is a drafting game, and he knows how to do drafting games, of course, because we already had 7 Wonders, which is a great drafting game. This one is rated higher because it is more accessible, and it looks just very pretty on the table. It is published by Yellow, and it is number 1577 on Board Game Geek, so it's not highly rated, probably because it is a lighter game. And I'm talking about Oceanos. Now, Oceanos is a 2 to 5 player game in which you are, well, each player has this submarine, a submarine that you can upgrade later by going to research stations that are powered by crystals. And it's very simple. You are going to draft cards, so each player is going to get a number of cards depending on the telescope on their submarine. So the better the telescope, the more cards you get to choose from. And they are going to choose one and give the other cards to the dealer, the starting player. Now, after that, starting player takes all these cards that he gotten, and he chooses one card for himself. And then each player reveals a card and adds it to his tableau. And you have, in the first round, you have the first level, and you go down in the second round with a new level, and the third one next to it. Now, and the things that you're doing are pretty simple. You are trying to do set collections to have different kinds of fish. On a certain level of your water. If you have more, you score more points. But to score even more points, you can upgrade your fish tank in your submarine. But you can also find treasures, and you can send a diver to one of those treasures. But you can push your luck and wait maybe until you can get maybe even 3 or 4 treasures at the same column. And at the end of the game, the diver will pick up all of those treasures. But if you don't get that one below the other ones, you might have nothing. And you have corals as well, in which you are trying to make a set of one piece that you can follow. And the more you have, the more points that will score you. Very cool. So you have many things to look at, but it is pretty simple in the end. And that's why this is a great introduction to drafting. And it looks awesome. The artwork is gorgeous. The blue and the colorful fishes. Very cool game. It surprised me a little bit that it was number 31, pretty high on the list, but it's a great game. My number 6 of 2016 and my number 31 of all time, Oceanos. And that's it for this episode. We're at number 31, so that means we are going into our top 30 next time, and of course I invite you to do so. So if you're not subscribed to this channel, feel free to push the subscribe button. If you like this part of this video, of this series, give this a thumbs up if you want. It would be much appreciated. If you want to discuss or talk about the games that I just mentioned in this part of the list, put them in the comments, talk about these games, let's discuss it, let's talk about it. Maybe I already mentioned your number one game. Let me know if you like one of these games very much, or maybe if you hate one of them and cannot stand it being in this top 75. Let me know, put it in the comments. Thank you for watching this part. I hope to see you next time. Thanks again, and I see you all in the future. Bye bye.